Hi everyone, my name is Steph, this is the Novelty Corner and welcome back to my channel and welcome to my review of a whole bunch of kids books that I have received from publishers over the last month or so, and I'm really excited to share all of them with you. I kind of have them in this haphazard stack because I've had to sort them by publisher so I can talk about who sent what. Pretty much all of these books will either have standalone reviews or publisher reviews also on Kidlit Joy, so if you want to see me talk about any of them in more depth, that's the place to see them. We are going to start off with a board book. So this is a book for very young readers. This is Countdown to Christmas by Evie, Garland and Rachel Guillen. This one is a really gorgeous Christmas tree shaped one. Obviously it is a Christmas book, and it also doubles as a countdown to Christmas and a counting book because it does count down from 10 to 1. Each page is the next part of the countdown and we're adding and decorating the Christmas tree as we go through the story. It is very gorgeous, very sweet, very Australian themed, and I think it's absolutely gorgeous. I am holding on to this one to give to Milla for Christmas, or probably in the lead up to Christmas so that she can read it. She's a little bit older now, so she's starting to understand presents and celebrations and things like that. I just realized I didn't even say who these particular books were sent to me from. So all of these ones that I'm talking about at the moment are from Allen Unwin, who I've worked with for many years now. The next book that they sent me is I Am Me, Sing and Dance to Your Own Beat by Mitch Tambo and illustrated by Carla Hoffenberg. This is a really gorgeous book about Mitch Tambo, who is an Indigenous performer here in Australia. He's an incredible performer to see. I've never actually seen him live, but I've seen a lot of his performances that have been televised, and he's amazing to watch. And this book is all about how he as a performer gets ready for his performances, but it's also a really big celebration of being who you are, including parts of yourself into your performance, into your costuming, into the way that you interact, and celebrating that anyone can sing or dance or engage in the performing arts in a way that suits them. It's beautiful, it's wonderfully illustrated. He talks a lot about the way traditional elements are incorporated into his performance look, and I really appreciated that kind of insight. And he also has a children's album coming out, I think early next year, which is linked in with this book, which I think is also wonderful. Then we have another picture book. This one is Let's Look After the Animals on Country with Uncle Koo, Animals on Country by Victor Steffenson and illustrated by Sandra Steffenson. This is a really gorgeous First Nations book as well. You guys know these are some of my favourite ones to have. And it looks at how the Aboriginal people of Australia have cared for animals and the land for thousands of years. It looks at the traditional law, the rules, particularly around totem animals, and how the Aboriginal people never take more than what they need, particularly if they're hunting animals for food. If they notice that the area is depleted, that they don't hunt. They look for other areas because they need the animals and the vegetation, etc., to return and grow before it can sustain them hunting on the land, which a lot of this knowledge would be nice if people paid attention to it in other aspects of the world. But beautifully illustrated, lots of stories, lots of traditional knowledge being passed on in this book, and it is wonderful. And then a young adult verse novel that they sent me this month is This Season's Draft by Jason Gent, and this is his debut work, and it is really cool. It's probably one of the most interesting young adult books that I've read. I've actually talked about it with a couple of teachers at school because I think it would be worthwhile reading with some of our upper grades, because we follow 5 boys and 1 girl who are all in their final year of high school, and the boys are all trying to be selected in the first round draft picks for the AFL. The way that this book is told, it's broken up into seasons. We start in summer, we go autumn, winter, spring, and then the final summer where the draft is happening. And we get 1 chapter from each character's perspective. All of them are going through different things. You have boys who have been training to get into the AFL, the Australian Football League, for their entire lives, and everything is centered around this draft. However, life doesn't go as smoothly for all of them as they would like. 1 deals with the loss of a father, 1 deals with a career-ending injury before he even starts his career. 2 friends who have been playing together and training together for decades get drafted to different teams and will for the first time ever be playing against each other in rival teams, things like that. The female protagonist is the girlfriend of one of the characters at the start, and their relationship is really rocky. It does deal with some misogynistic behavior on the part of the teenage boy who is her boyfriend, and they separate, and it's her finding her feet after leaving this relationship where she genuinely deeply loved him and they were together for a long time, but football became his whole thing, and she had very little part in that new life. And it's both of them finding themselves after that as well. So a really cool story, I think very relevant, particularly to teen boys here in Australia. I think it's got some really great messaging in it, and I will definitely be sharing that with some of the teachers, because we've got, I think, a couple of classes who could probably read that and understand that just because you think something's going to go your way doesn't necessarily mean that it will. Then from Fremantle Press, I have You're Too Little by Katie Stewart. This is a really gorgeous picture book about a pygmy possum who wants to climb very high up into the tree to get a particular type of nectar, and all of the other animals keep telling her that she's too little to do it, that she can't succeed, she's too little. But with the advice of a brush-tailed possum who is encouraging and reminds her that, you know, you can do anything you set your mind to, you just have to try, she's able to overcome that. It is beautiful, it is gorgeous. The illustrations in here, I don't know if you can see the detail on the screen, but it's just stunning. Katie Stewart does some really gorgeous books, particularly about animals. I love this. And then we have a neat little stack from Hachette through their children's imprint Lothian. We'll start with Hedgehog or Echidna, animals who are the same but a little bit different. I can't remember if I've talked about this one already or not. I may have. If I have, this will probably not feature in here. It's gorgeous. It's about different animals who look the same but are different and how they're different. It's a very simple non-fiction text for younger readers. It's a great way of engaging them in discussions around these animals, where you might find them in the world and what you might want to know more about. And so you can then go and explore them further. So really great little book. Then we have If We Were Dogs by Sophie Blackall. She's a 2-time Caldecott medalist and I absolutely adore her books. This one is a gorgeous book all about imagination and play. We are following 2 dogs who, it starts off with, you know, my favorite animal is a dog and I imagine I want to be a dog. And it goes through all the things that you could do if you were a dog. And then it gets to the end and the little dog goes, well, that's nice for you, but I don't want to be a dog. And so there's a little bit of back and forth around, you know, well, what do you want to be? And then my favorite part of this whole book is the other character revealing they'd like to be a duck. And the most gorgeous illustration in here is this one. It's so sweet and lovely and wholesome and really looks at acceptance. And maybe when you take time to listen to the people around you, you find that acceptance and you go, oh, of course, that makes total sense. Like, it's beautiful. It is stunningly illustrated. I absolutely loved it. Very, very grateful to have received that. And then another book that they sent me was Drift by Pip Harry, which was a book that I had seen on social media and was going to pick up anyway. And I adore this book. Again, it's a verse novel this time. It's a young adult novel. We are following 14-year-old Nate, who has just moved back to Australia with his mum. His dad is still working overseas and his mum is also living with chronic pain. And Nate and his mum's house has just had some new residents move into the walls, a swarm of bees. And Nate and his mum enlist the help of a local beekeeper to come and try and help coax these bees out of the walls rather than eradicating them. And that sparks off a friendship between them and the beekeeper. And Nate also strikes up a friendship with the girl who lives next door, and she has recently had a video go viral of her and it has totally turned her world upside down. And these 2 characters are navigating a friendship in a time when they're both feeling very out of sorts. They're dealing with things that kids shouldn't have to deal with, but we know that they do deal with in this day and age. And when Nate accidentally sees the video that she's asked him not to watch, she thinks it's going to change his perception. It doesn't, but he doesn't know how to talk to her about it because he's a teenage boy and he needs support in that area. It's a beautiful book about found family, about friendship, about relationships in general. It's also about bees and the preservation of bees and why they're important for our local ecosystem. It is absolutely stunning. One of my favorite young adult books of the year, hands down. So thank you to all the publishers, Allen Unwin, Fremantle Press and Hachette, for sending me these review copies. I've absolutely loved reading them. I think they're absolutely beautiful books and I can't wait to share them with other people because they are gorgeous. They're so beautiful. In the comments, I'd love to know, have you read any of these books or books by these authors? Feel free to chat to me about them down below. Or if you have recommendations for similar books, feel free to let me know that down below as well. Otherwise, feel free to leave a bee or a dog emoji to let me know that you're here, since we had a lot of books about animals. I hope that wherever you are in the world, you're staying safe and healthy, and I will see you in my next video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye everyone.